Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of the program. Barb, sometimes people decide to sell a rental home. So, what are some of the things that they should be prepared for if that sale is a rental home?
Well, I think people reach a point, Richard, that it's like they don't want to deal with it. First of all, it's not as liquid as, say, selling a stock. So if they need money for something, they have to consider the lease. They might be able to sell a property with a tenant in there, but a lot of tenants have rights, so you can't really get them out until the end of the lease, and you have to give them all kinds of notice. There's a lot of rules around it. And so the other piece of that, of course, is taxes, which we're going to talk about that. But at the end of the day, most people did pretty well in real estate, especially if they bought right after the real estate meltdown took place. And since then, they've probably picked up quite a bit of equity. So some people are like, all right, I don't want to deal with tenants, toilets, and terrorists anymore, and I'm ready to go. So we're going to talk in this segment really about some things that have changed in Colorado law, what you should think about, and how you should plan ahead before you actually sell a property, especially a rental property. And I get asked all the time, why can't I just put it up for sale while the tenant is in there and actually sell it rented? Like let the new buyer assume the lease, but you're taking a massive buyer pool and pulling it down to a little trickle. So the chances of it being successful are not great. It happens. It would happen on a multifamily home, like a duplex or a fourplex. Those sales happen all the time. And actually, those kind of buildings will sell for a premium. For some reason, they've always been hot real estate in Colorado Springs. But when it's time for the tenant to move, sometimes the tenants are giving notice. Sometimes the sellers want to sell. Some of the rules have changed. One of the rules is that, let's say at the end of that tenant's 1-year lease, you decide that you're going to sell the property. You have to give the tenant minimum 90 days notice and preferably 120 days. And then if you do that and the tenant moves out, you can't re-rent it. Like some people would say, oh, well, I'm just going to sell it. I want you to move out. And then they raise the rent and re-rent it to somebody else. You're not allowed to do that anymore in the state of Colorado. Tenants have a lot of rights in the state, and I definitely would talk with a real estate attorney about doing that. And there are some tax consequences when you sell a rental property. Now, if it works out that you've lived in it 2 of the last 5 years, then you can sell it as a primary resident. And that's a good thing because you can avoid paying taxes on either 250,000 or 500,000 profit. But whether the tenant lives there or not, it sort of depends, because if the tenant is still in the house and you're trying to show it, if you just think it through, guess what? The tenant really probably doesn't want to move, right? So are they going to be as cooperative as they potentially say they're going to be? Are they going to show the house, to make it look really good? Are they going to, make the beds, clean everything up? Are they going to make the home available? It depends on what's in your lease. If you don't have that in your lease, you could be in trouble showing it in general. You could do it with 24 hours notice, but I'm here to tell you, as a real estate agent, when agents are showing property, most of them don't plan ahead 24 hours, especially on the weekends. So you could run into a conflict of interest. The other issues you run into are condition issues. Now, I'm here to tell you, I hear this all the time, that the tenant trashed the carpet, or they broke the drywall, or the paint was rough, or this and that. It's very normal. In fact, I think it's probably a good idea to just budget for it. Just plan on it, that they're not going to take care of the carpet or the walls or the landscaping like they normally would. And that's considered normal wear and tear. So you have to put your buyer hat on when you're planning on what you're going to do and how you're going to present the home to the market. How does the carpet look? Does it have an odor? Can a buyer move right in and feel fresh and ready to go? Or is it worth spending a little bit money to fix up and get top dollar? The other thing you want to be very careful about is you have to consider what will it cost and how much time will it take to update a home to get it ready for sale. Things like fresh carpet, fresh paint. I just helped a couple years ago. Really nice home. I sold it to them when they bought it. It had brand new carpet and new flooring. When they sold it, after about 10 years of tenants, not so much. The carpet was thrashed, the paint was thrashed, the flooring was thrashed. And they found a pretty good deal to get everything fixed up. We put it on the market and it sold at a great price right away. But they were prepared for it. And I told them to plan on it years ahead of when they actually sold it. So things like fresh flooring, carpet, vinyl, whatever, generally 3,000 to 5,000. Fresh appliances if it's needed. If it's not needed, that's fine. But let's say you have a mismatch of appliances. That's always weird to people. Some updates in the kitchen can be relatively inexpensive. All new stainless steel appliances you can get for about $3,500. New Formica counters, you don't have to do quartz or granite, about $2,000. Or I had a tenant one time, or an owner one time, actually fix Formica. I didn't know you could fix it. Her tenant had burnt it with a hot pan, and she found somebody to fix it, which is really impressive. But at the end of the day, the buyers want fresh, move-in ready, and then they're not thinking about having to do remodeling. If a buyer has to spend money on the house right after they buy it, chances are, unless the price is really, really low, they won't make an offer on the home. Some simple things that you can do that are inexpensive might be light fixtures, plumbing fixtures, cleaning the tub, the grout. I had one client, her home actually just sold recently, where the shower surround, it was a 70s house. Hang on a sec, my alarm's going off. Okay, so things like what she did was the tile looked a little tired and dingy. So she brought in a company called Get a Grip, and they basically sprayed this polyurethane on the whole shower surface and made it look fresh and new. It looked beautiful. And that home sold for above asking price for cash in just a few days. Check out your mechanical systems, your furnace, your water heater. All that's going to bite you when it's time for inspection time. So you might as well get ahead of that. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show. And we're talking about how to sell a rental home. What should you do in advance of selling the rental home? And also some new laws that you should think about. If you are thinking of making a move, we sell all kinds of properties that are residential real estate. You can give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. If you're thinking of making a move, the number is 719-301-3900. You'll talk to Barb and her team or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Barb, what are some other things that people should consider when they're selling a rental home?
Well, it's very important that when it's time to present the home, you want it presented clean, repaired, and tenant distraction free. Like if the tenants are in there, they're going to put up roadblocks. It's just how it is. So you really don't want that to happen. And it's so important to price it realistically. I talked to a seller probably about a year ago, and it had 70s carpet in the house. It was a nice lot, good location. Tenants had been in there for years and years. And I'm like, to really get top dollar for this, you're going to have to do this and this. And he decided just to keep it and keep running it, which is fine. You want to make sure you price it at market value. Don't build in price for what we call negotiating room. Even 1% can make the difference between somebody making an offer and somebody just waiting for the price to walk down. And many buyers are actually watching homes in their criteria. They're kind of hoping the price drops down if it's just sitting on the market for a while. Typically tenants will clear out their stuff, but I've seen some tenants that leave a big mess. for the homeowner to take care of after they leave. Another issue is landscaping. Now, I had rentals for a while. I still do, that are single family homes. I already know the landscaping is just not going to be taken care of. And I'm okay with that. I've accepted that. Flooring is going to take a hit. The bathrooms probably are going to take a hit. I just have to build into my budget remodel time when it's time to sell. And, you know, buyers eliminate homes based on the online presentation. That's your first showing. So if you don't get that right, I don't care what kind of property you're selling, even though the seller says, well, can't we just give a carpet allowance? Can't we just get a credit for the dead landscaping? No, they're going to pass it by because most buyers are buying a home with all the cash that they have. They don't want a fixer-upper unless the home is priced way under market value. And then they're okay with it. There are some loans that buyers can get where they can actually fund as much as $75,000 into the loan for renovations. And that's okay if you price it that way. But if you price it full retail and expect them to accept the old tired carpet, it's just not going to work. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
So, Barb, you've got some hot new listings this week. Tell us about them.
I do. I have a really cool home down in Monte Vista, Colorado in the low twos, a spectacular home in Peyton Pines. It's a gorgeous, really true log home on 7.5 acres with a massive detached 6-car garage, treed acres, beautiful property, priced in the upper eights. We have a fabulous home in Jackson Creek that has gorgeous views in the upper sixes, an amazing home in the southeast part of town in the mid threes on Kasdan Circle. Beautiful lakefront property on Blue Mesa Drive and Divide at $699 with 3 acres, really gorgeous home. Another fabulous home out in Peyton at $639 on 35 acres with a detached RV garage, and it has an assumable VA loan at 2.5% fixed. So what does that mean? You don't have to be a veteran to assume a VA loan. As long as you qualify for the payments, you can walk right into that low payment and enjoy owning that property. Another great property up in Crystal Park on Eagle Mountain Drive. Crystal Park is a gated community on the side of the mountain behind Manitou. Beautiful location. The roads are very well maintained. This home has an RV garage priced at $999. Another fantastic home on Reno Road at $599 on 62 acres south of Pueblo. Fabulous ranch, move-in ready, really great home for somebody that wants all of the tech toys where you could walk away from that house and control it from an app on Cascading Spring. In the mid fours, another fabulous condo at $199 on Sonana. If you want a downtown townhome where you can actually have the business on the main level and live upstairs, 275 East Fountain is for you at $525. Another beautiful home in Crystal Park in Manitou at in the mid 800s on Sugarloaf Road. It's on the side of a mountain. It has spectacular views from every bedroom, and it has solar. Beautiful ranch style home close to Country Club on Meade Avenue in the low threes, and another home down in Pueblo with a VA assumable loan on Gold King. A beautiful home on Warriors Path on 5 acres. Fantastic hobby farm on Judge Orr Road, priced at $1.39 million with an auxiliary dwelling unit, a custom ranch style home, 2 barns, 80 acres, really fabulous country living. And another home very similar to that on 35 acres up in Florissant on County Road 421, priced at $2.15 million, also with a detached garage that has a separate apartment and views of every single mountain range practically in Colorado. If you are thinking of making a move and you want to find out about all of our coming soon properties, go to barbhasthebuyers.com and click on featured homes. Richard?
That'll do it for this week. Barb, thank you so much for giving us an update on the current market and what people can do. Reach out to you is what they should do, 719-301-3900 or barbhasthebuyers.com. Have a great week, Barb. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.